Hi. Hola, ¿cómo está? I hope everyone is having a good day thus far. I know it's still kind of early for you guys, but not for me. I think I've been up since 4 o'clock. Guys, I get my rest, okay? Why do you think I'm all in alkaline? Rest consists of alkaline. This is why I am naturally hyper. I don't need to drink a Red Bull, drink a Mountain Dew, or anything like that. Okay? But anyways, I want to share something with you guys. This is 4 days old, and it's from the officials at the White House emergency preparation checklist in case something catastrophic happening. And as you know, if you go back and take the time and get into something educational or need to know instead of buffoonery, you would know that I've uploaded these already because I'm big on this. You have to be. You also have to share it with your family and friends, as I do. It's up to them whether they take note and prep themselves into preparation in case something happens. Because guess what? Hey, don't ring me if you didn't take care of it when I told you to. Okay? I'm just a messenger. Don't sue me. Okay, guys. But anyways, this is 15 items the Red Cross. The Red Cross wants you to stockpile on today. And I've been telling you guys this for the last 3, 4 years. So today, the Red Cross says, okay. Are you hearing the words that are coming out of my mouth? Today. Today. Today, guys. So let's get started. The American Red Cross, you know them, they show up when everything goes sideways. They've put together a specific list of 15 items they want every single household in America to have ready to go. Not think about getting someday, not add to your Amazon wish list. Actually have in your home. Did you hear that, guys? This is not to be added to your Amazon wish list, okay? Thank you. Let's continue. Right now. And look, these aren't random suggestions from some guy on the internet. This is a humanitarian organization that has been on the ground during basically every major disaster this country has ever faced. Forest fires turning entire California neighborhoods to ash. Texas freezing over and leaving millions of people without power for days on end. Back-to-back hurricanes absolutely demolishing the Gulf Coast. These people have seen it all, and they know exactly what separates the families that make it through okay from the ones who are standing in line at a shelter, wishing they'd been more prepared. So here's what we're going to do today. I'm going to walk you through all 15 of those. Exactly what I said. Don't wish for it when you could do today. No, what you put off tomorrow, what you can do today. My grandmother taught me that. And she was born in 1908. Those are wise words. Let's continue. 4 items. Give you my honest take on each one. Throw in some real examples and options at different price points. And then at the end, I've got some bonus items that the Red Cross didn't include, but that I personally think belong in every emergency kit. These aren't fancy, they're not expensive, and getting them together won't take you more than a weekend.
Has Kyrie texted you back?
I don't want to talk about it.
Okay, guys, sorry about that.
How's the math test?
Don't want to.
But they could absolutely be the difference between your family being comfortable and your family being in serious trouble. One thing I want to say before we dive in, don't get overwhelmed by this list. People look at preparedness content and they feel like they need to do everything at once or it doesn't count. Or you may feel like you got to do 1,000 things when it's only like a 5 to 10 check off list. Don't get caught up in the hooray. Let's continue. That's not how this works. Every single item you add to your kit is a step in the right direction. You don't have to build Rome in a day. Just start somewhere and build from there consistently. After you've locked down these 15 essentials, then go ahead and customize your kit based on where you live and what kinds of disasters are most likely in your area. But don't skip ahead. Nail the foundation first. Let's get into it. 1. Multi. The first thing on the Red Cross list. Always build upon a foundation. The foundation is your starting point. Okay, let's continue. There's a quality multi-tool. And honestly, this one makes complete sense the moment you think about it for 2 seconds.
Emergencies by definition are unpredictable. You don't know exactly what you're going to need to do. Cut something, tighten something, pry something open, strip a wire, and a multi-tool covers an enormous range of those scenarios in one compact package that fits in your pocket or your kit. Now here's where I'm going to be blunt with you. Do not buy a cheap one. If you see a multi-tool priced at $5 or $10, just walk past it. Those things are decoration. They'll snap or strip the first time you actually put any real pressure on them. And that is the absolute worst time to discover your gear is garbage when you actually need it. Expect to spend at least $40 to $50 to get something that's actually going to hold up under real-world conditions. I personally use Gerber multi-tools and have for years. They're solid, they're reliable,
Take note, guys.
and they haven't let me down. There are other good brands too. Leatherman being the big one most people know. But whatever you go with, make sure it has these core functions. A strong set of pliers, a flathead screwdriver, a Phillips head screwdriver, a knife blade, and ideally a file or a can opener. Those are the things you're realistically going to reach for in an emergency. Not the weird little hook blade that nobody ever uses. The pliers alone will save you multiple times. You'd be amazed how often you need to grab, bend, or hold something firmly when things go wrong. Keep one in your emergency kit, and while you're at it, keep one in your car. You'll thank yourself later. Links to what I recommend are in the description below. 2. Cash. This one surprises people every time, but it really shouldn't. The Red Cross wants you to have a meaningful amount of cash in your home at all times, in small bills. And this recommendation is rooted in a reality that most people just haven't thought through. Here's the deal. Your debit card is useless when the power is out. Your credit card is useless when the power is out. The ATM down the street, also useless because it runs on electricity just like everything else. During a widespread outage, a lot of stores will
And you guys should know that. That's like common sense logic. Let's continue.
still be open and still have supplies on their shelves, but they can only process cash transactions. No power means no card readers, no point of sale systems, nothing electronic. If you don't have cash, you can't buy anything. Simple as that. I keep at least $1,000 in cash somewhere in my home specifically for emergencies. That might sound like a lot to some people, but think about what a week without power actually looks like in practice. You might need to buy food, fuel, or last-minute supplies. You might need to pay a neighbor to help clear a fallen tree or assist with something physically demanding. You might need to tip someone generously for going out of their way to help your family when resources are scarce. Cash is king in every one of those situations, and if you wait until disaster strikes to try to get some, you're already too late. Keep it in small denominations, 5s, 10s, and 20s primarily. A thick stack of $100 bills sounds great until no one can make change. For them,
Facts. Take note, guys. Small bills. Let's continue.
and you end up overpaying for a $20 item. Tuck your cash somewhere safe. Tell at least one other trusted person in your household where it is, and don't rate it for everyday expenses. 3. Warm blankets. Number 3 is extra blankets, specifically warm, substantial ones. And if you lived through or know anyone who lived through that Texas winter disaster a few years back, you already understand exactly why this is on the list. People were huddled in their own homes, wrapped in every layer of clothing they owned because they didn't have adequate blankets. That is a completely avoidable situation with a tiny amount of preparation. My strong recommendation here is to invest in wool blankets. These aren't your regular decorative throw blankets from the living room couch. Wool is dense, heavy, and critically, it retains warmth even when it gets damp. That last point matters a lot in disaster scenarios where staying dry isn't always possible. Back in the Civil War era, soldiers were issued a single wool blanket that served as their tent, sleeping bag, and blanket all in one. That tells you something significant about how durable and versatile this material truly is in real-world harsh conditions. There are hammock campers today who lay a wool blanket inside their hammock before even getting into their sleeping bag, because wool provides a level of insulation that most synthetic materials simply don't match at the same time.
It may be itchy, guys, because I remember that as a kid, my grandmother had a lot. She had lots of wool blankets, but you'll be covered, so no worries. Let's continue.
Thickness. That's a serious endorsement from people who sleep outside in all conditions by choice. One practical storage tip. If you live in an area with any flooding risk, store your extra emergency blankets on the second floor of your home rather than in a ground level, closet, or storage area. It's very easy to picture a scenario where your first floor floods completely and everything stored there gets soaked and ruined.
Have you seen the average auto insurance rate in Florida?
Okay, guys, I hope
It's
this is really
crazy.
helping
I
you
don't know how anyone
guys.
can afford to
And what
live
I'm going to
here.
do is,
Floridians are paying about over
pardon me.
$3,500 per year on average.
Having dry, warm blankets.
What I'm going to do is let it play out all the way to 15 so that you guys can have this, because someone may need to reach for this sooner than later and figure out what it is that they really need. And also, I do have many other uploads with different survival kits or ideas or needed items. Let's continue.
Stored up high means you've still got something crucial when you need it most. Don't store your emergency gear where the emergency is most likely to reach it. 4. Okay, water. This is arguably the single most critical item on the entire list, and it deserves the most serious treatment. Everything else matters, but nothing, absolutely nothing, matters more than clean drinking water in a survival situation. You can survive weeks without food if you have to. You will not survive more than 3 to 4 days without water, and your physical and mental performance starts degrading significantly long before that point. The Red Cross recommendation follows the widely accepted standard of 1 gallon per person per day. So for a household of 5 people, that's 5 gallons per day at a minimum. For 3 days, their baseline
Okay, let's see. I wanted to pause there for one moment, guys. I'm trying to see if I could do 1 gallon a day because I am a drinker, guys, meaning health wise or alkaline wise, I should say, because I don't want you guys to get it twisted like I'm some such vegan diet, how whatever. It's not that. It's just my lifestyle is earth alkaline. So 1 gallon, I could adjust to that, but I think I do like maybe 2.5 of liquids a day. Kid you not. This is why the doctor told me my urine was healthy. I never heard that before ever in my life. I had to ask somebody what it meant, okay? And I'm not an ignorant child. I really literally didn't know what she meant. It just made me smile when she said it. And I was like, okay, but I was dumbfounded. She said I had healthy urine. She's never seen anything like it. And then the person I said it to, it was a guy. He said, it's because of all the healthy drinks that you drink in your body. And I'm like, duh. Okay, let's continue. True story.
recommendation for evacuation scenarios, you're looking at 15 gallons just to cover the basics. But here's where they go further than most agencies and where I want you to really pay attention. They also recommend storing a full 2 weeks worth of water for sheltering in place situations. That's not paranoid overkill. That's reasonable and well supported by what we've actually seen in real disasters. During the Texas winter crisis, people didn't just lose power. Their tap water became contaminated and completely unsafe to drink. The pipes froze and burst, and what came out of the faucet you couldn't safely consume. So even if water is technically flowing, that doesn't mean it's usable. You can start simple by buying gallon jugs from the grocery store.
And not only that, guys, here in the state of Florida, you know that we have hurricanes, right? So we have filters like on everything to cleanse the water from the fridge to the kitchen sink to the bathroom sink to our bath water. Seriously. So we already, everybody, I guess that take time to have it installed in your house. It's just a filter to filter out the water so you can drink it safely. And then they also have pardon me, like tablets and all this good stuff that you could add. I can't think of the name. It begins with an H, but I'll look it up and I'll put it in the comment for you guys. But so maybe if you have that too, that will help, especially if you have a big family and you really need the water, okay? Or if if the lights are out, electricity, and you could boil the water and that will purify it, but how are you going to boil it? Do you have a generator? Do you have a electrical hot plate that's utilized by batteries? Or I don't know. Okay, let's continue.
For under $1 each and immediately available. The downside is that the plastic can degrade and crack over time, especially if stored in temperature fluctuating environments. A smarter long-term investment is to get 5-gallon or 7-gallon food-grade water storage containers specifically designed for emergency use. They're more durable, stack efficiently, seal properly, and will last for years without issues. 5. Non-perishable food, same fundamental principle as water. 3 days worth minimum for evacuation scenarios where you need mobile supplies. 2 weeks minimum for sheltering in place for extended periods.
Okay, guys, did you hear that? 3 day for evacuation. That means that it's limited. You get to return home after 72 hours. Then it goes into 2 weeks minimum for sheltering for an extended period. So keep that in mind. Let's continue.
And I want to give you a full breakdown of real options here because non-perishable food is a broad category with wildly different price points and practical trade-offs. Freeze-dried emergency kits are my top recommendation if your budget can accommodate them. Companies like Wise Company and Mountain House produce these big buckets or sealed Mylar pouches with 60, 120 or more.
Guys, I have the Wise. That's what I have. YISE. Hold on one moment and I'll get it for you. Let me let you continue.
Servings of actual varied meals. The shelf life runs up to 25 years in proper storage conditions. Most of them require nothing more than adding hot water and stirring.
Word documents. That's it. I format them, upload them to Amazon, and collect royalties every month.
Okay,
no
guys,
website,
sorry.
No ads.
This is what they're
You buy
talking
them
about.
once, put them in
Wise
your
Company,
attic or closet, and genuinely
I have
forget
it
about them
already.
until the day you actually need them.
3 boxes.
They're also completely portable. If you need to evacuate, you grab 2 or 3 buckets, throw them in the trunk, and you're rolling with weeks of food covered. Canned foods is the more accessible and budget-friendly option. Every time you go to the grocery store, add 2 or 3 extra cans of things your family actually eats. Not stuff you think you should eat, but what you'll realistically consume. Put the newest cans at the back of the shelf, use the ones at the front first, and you'll naturally rotate through your stock without anything expiring on you. Over a few months of this habit, you'll build up a meaningful supply without feeling the financial hit all at once. Ramen noodles get dragged in prepping discussions, and nutritionally, that criticism is fair. There's
Hi,
almost no real food
Jennifer.
value in them. But here's the
Thank
honest counterargument. The vast
you.
majority of emergencies last between 1
Thank you,
and 3
Jennifer.
days.
It's
For
people
a
like
short
you that
duration
makes a
solution,
difference. Sorry,
eating
pardon
ramen
me.
for
It's people like you that makes a difference. And I hope that you're having a great day. So let's continue.
a day or two is not going to cause you any real harm. And a whole case of ramen costs $5 to $10, which makes it the most accessible entry point for people just starting out. Use it as a foundation and add actual protein and vegetables to your stockpile over time. MRE's Meals Ready to Eat, identical in concept to military.
And guys, again, this is what he's talking about. This is the Wise Company that he mentioned. I think I paid for the box of, and this is a 25 shelf life, 25-year shelf life. Can you believe that? I think it was like $289 or $300. Let's continue. But there's a lot in the box, guys. I think you get different boxes where you can have food for 1 week to 3 months to a year, like that. So I got like different ones. But I'll do a live on that. Let's continue.
Military field rations are calorically dense, sealed for extended shelf life, and come with surprising variety. The trade-off is cost. Expect to pay $8 to $12 per package. Keep a few in the kit as a high-value backup option. Hey, quick break. If you're getting value from this, hit the like button, leave a comment telling me what's already in your emergency kit, and subscribe if you haven't done that yet. It directly supports this channel and helps more people find content like this. 6. Flashlights don't just own one flashlight. Have multiple spread across different locations in your home.
Yes, this right here. People tend to use candles. Again, I'm in the state of Florida, so we have hurricanes, as you guys know. But candles aren't always, unless you buy the right one, and I know they're expensive these days because I make my own candles. But what you want to do is get the solar lights. They're found in odd places. I don't know why. You have to go to like a Ollie's or like at your U.S. Post Office. It's weird. You would think they have it in Walmart, on Amazon or something like that. But just go for that and make sure you have plenty of lighting.
And right now, before you buy a single new one, decide which battery size.
Thank you, Jennifer. You're my favorite person. You're my favorite person. I will watch all of your lives. Thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate it. And you're my favorite subby. How about that? My favorite all-in subby is Jin Jin. Okay, let's continue.
You're standardizing on and commit to it across every flashlight you own. Nothing is more frustrating and counterproductive than having 3 working flashlights during a power outage, and none of them taking the same batteries. Here's the complete lineup I recommend building toward. A standard flashlight is your core workhorse. Bright, directional beam, easy to aim where you need it. Get a decent one from a hardware store, not the dollar bin, not the checkout aisle impulse buy, a real one. A headlamp is something people dramatically underestimate until they've actually used one during a situation where their hands were occupied. When both hands are completely free, you can cook food, work on repairs, handle children, navigate obstacles, all while maintaining full illumination exactly where you're looking. This is not a luxury item. It's genuinely more practical than a handheld light in most real-world scenarios. A hand crank flashlight is your absolute last resort backup, and you need at least one. Yes, cranking it is tedious. Yes, it's dimmer than battery-powered lights. But if every battery in your
Thank you, Jennifer.
home is depleted, the hand crank still functions. That makes it irreplaceable as a failsafe. An omnidirectional lantern is what I personally grab first the moment the lights go out. Rather than a single focused beam, it illuminates an entire room evenly. Set it on a table, go completely hands-free, and function like a normal person instead of wandering around with a flashlight tucked under your chin. If you only upgrade one flashlight item after watching this, make it a lantern. Solar-powered inflatable lights like the Luminede round out the lineup nicely. Leave them outside during daylight hours to charge. Bring them inside at night. They're compact, lightweight, packable, and put out genuinely impressive light for something that fits in a shirt pocket when deflated. 7. Battery-powered hand crank radio. This might genuinely be the most underrated item on the entire Red Cross list, and I'll make the case that it should be among the very first things you purchase when building your kit, not an afterthought. Here's the core problem it solves. In a significant emergency, your phone may not work reliably or at all. Cell towers get overwhelmed almost immediately when large numbers of people try to use them simultaneously. They lose power. They get physically damaged. Internet infrastructure.
And this is true, guys, because during the holidays, that happens. The phones always, they're not working properly during major holidays because everybody's calling family and friends. So this is true. Let's continue.
Structure goes down. Social media becomes inaccessible. But emergency radio broadcasts continue operating through all of that because the infrastructure behind them is specifically designed for resilience in exactly these scenarios. Local emergency management agencies, law enforcement, FEMA, and the National Weather Service are all pushing critical updates over emergency radio frequencies. Which roads are passable, which are flooded or blocked by debris, where shelters are located and how to reach them. When it's safe to return to an area, what water sources are contaminated. If you can't receive those broadcasts because your phone is dead and you have no radio, you are making life-affecting decisions with zero information. That's a
Facts. Guys, this is what I have for my emergency. Look at my AM FM radio. I paid $89 for this little thing right here, but guess what, guys? It's battery operated, so I could tune into any AM news broadcasting. So you want to have something like this. Okay, let's continue.
That's a genuinely dangerous position to be in. A quality hand crank emergency radio does multiple jobs simultaneously. It receives AM, FM, and NOAA weather band. It has a built-in rechargeable battery you can top up by hand cranking or through built-in solar panels. It has a flashlight. The better models include a USB output so you can use it to charge your cell phone directly. You can get a solid, reliable unit for $30 to $40. That's an incredibly small investment for everything it provides. When you get advance warning of a bad storm, plug it into a wall outlet and charge it fully before the power goes out. You'll have your radio, your flashlight backup, and a phone charging option all wrapped up in one unit that requires zero external power to operate. 8. Extra batteries, keep them organized, keep them physically elevated above floor level, and make absolutely sure you're buying the correct sizes for your actual equipment. Those 3 things cover...
Well, okay, guys, for my prong, what he was just talking about, I have this. This right here was gifted to me. And it's very heavy, guys. This thing is heavy. See the prongs here? Okay, and then I have 2. Now, this one right here was gifted to me as well. Guys, as you can see, it has dust on it. I have to clean them off. But this was gifted to me too. So I have 2 of these. Make sure you have these on hand because your car, yes, you can use your car to charge. It depends on your make and model, or it just depends on certain things. So don't go strictly, oh, I could charge in the car, because you're only going to be able to do that for so long. If you run out of gas, how are you going to crank your car to charge, or however? So let's continue and keep that in mind.
Over 90% of what matters here. I store mine in a clearly labeled sealed Tupperware container on a high shelf closet. Two reasons behind that approach. They stay organized so I can locate them immediately without searching. And if the house ever floods, even partially, they're not sitting on the floor soaking in water alongside everything else that got damaged. Get in the habit of storing anything battery dependent at height. It's a simple change.
I store everything, and I mean absolutely any and everything that I can. It's stored, it's binned, so it's just something I don't know, I don't have to worry about that part. I store food, everything, meaning in the proper containers for life shelf. Let's continue.
Change that protects a lot of gear. The biggest mistake people consistently make with battery storage is buying a random assortment, whatever was on sale, and then discovering that none of the sizes actually match what
Oh
they
my
need to power in a
goodness.
crisis. Go through your flashlights.
I didn't believe these.
Guys, he is so absolutely right about that. Now, when I first started buying batteries,
80%,
one moment,
100%,
guys.
sometimes in under a day or two.
Your
When
emergency
I first started buying batteries, we're talking maybe 8, I usually send my brothers, or it was always a guy to go get them. I had to learn, okay, what do I need? Double A, what size, da 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 da. But I got it down packed now. So just make sure the devices that you do have, that you have the correct battery size for it, okay? Because if you get the wrong battery, you're literally gonna have problems, okay? Let's continue.
radio, your smoke detectors, your kids' important devices. Identify exactly what battery sizes each one requires.
Jennifer, I will subscribe to your page. Consider me a new subscriber, okay? When I'm done with the live. No worries. All in Echoline Lifestyle.
Then stock specifically those sizes in meaningful quantities. AA and AAA cover the overwhelming majority of consumer electronics
and Jennifer, you may only have 4, but guess what? All it takes is 1. Let's continue.
Emergency equipment. CR123 batteries appear frequently in higher-end flashlights and certain smoke detectors. Know your gear before you buy your batteries, not after. 9. First aid kit. You don't need anything complicated or expensive here. Let me be clear about that up front. A basic, general-purpose first aid kit.
And Jennifer, I want to say this. This is why I really meant what I said. You're my fave all in Echoline sub, because guess what? As far as I can see, you're the only one in here, and all it takes is 1. So you know what? You're going to be very, very well taken care of. No worries for you, because you could be anywhere else, but you're here with All in Echoline Lifestyle. Thank you. Let's continue.
In the $15 to $20 range, with somewhere between 50 and 100 items, covers the realistic majority of what you'll actually encounter in an emergency situation. Lacerations, abrasions, burns, blisters, minor sprains, and basic wound care. The reason these matter so much in an emergency context specifically is infection prevention. A minor cut under
disclaimer, guys, but see how he's using the peroxide? You really want to make sure peroxide doesn't cost very much at this moment. This is why you guys should have been stocked. You already should have it in your home. And I have like 2 cases of it, guys. Seriously, because I use it a lot. That's what I brush my teeth with. I use that in baking soda if I don't use the charcoal toothpaste, period. But make sure you have peroxide. Peroxide is a very, very valuable thing to have in your home if anything catastrophic happens, okay? Let's continue.
Normal circumstances is trivially easy to handle. A minor cut that's untreated for 3 days in a stressful, unsanitary post-disaster environment can turn into a serious problem when you don't have easy access to medical care. Keeping wounds clean and properly covered is genuinely important. At minimum.
Exactly. That's my whole point. It keeps the infection or whatever area from spreading, which could cause very major health problems. So a capsule full of peroxide on a cut or something could just knock out any other things from happening. Keeps you out of the danger zone. Let's continue.
Minimum, make sure your kit includes bandages in multiple sizes, antiseptic wipes, antibiotic ointment, sterile gauze pads in several sizes, medical adhesive tape, tweezers, scissors, and if possible, a CPR face shield. Nitrile gloves are worth including as well. They protect you when treating someone else's injuries and cost almost nothing. I'd actually recommend purchasing 2 separate kits.
Now I don't have those nitrile gloves, so that's something I need to get. I have gloves. But they're not the. They're not going to work. I need the kind he's talking about. Let's continue.
One that lives in your dedicated emergency supply bag, and one stored
Or
somewhere.
no, maybe they will because they're surgical. This is what the doctors really use before they do surgery. So I already have those. So X that out. Let's continue.
Immediately accessible in your home like the bathroom cabinet. When you need a first aid kit in a hurry, you don't want to be rummaging through your entire emergency kit. Keep one ready for immediate use. Keep one sealed.
I'm sorry, guys. He said the word rummaging. Oh my gee. Look, my grandmother used to say that all the time. She was born in 1908. She would say she would use that word rather, rummaging. Rummaging. I guess it's spelled ROMEING, rummaging. I don't know, but that means to be like looking through things like this, rummaging through things, looking for something. That's what that means. Sorry, guys, but that was that put a smile on my face. I heard my grandmother voice when he said that. Okay, let's continue.
Sealed and stocked in your go bag. 10. 7-day medication supply. This is one of the most critical items on the list and simultaneously one of the most consistently neglected. If you take any prescription medication, and this is absolutely non-negotiable if that medication is essential to your health or survival, you need to maintain a minimum 1-week surplus at all times.
Guys, now this is very, 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 very important, okay? This is very important. People have high blood pressure, diabetes, kidney issues, lupus, leukemia, all that stuff, okay? Make sure that you have your meds at hand at all times. You know what? Let me tell you a little secret, and I have no secrets. If I get a bottle of and it leaves, because that's barely what I'll take to minimum. That bottle could last me for the whole year because I don't have to take it like that. So what I do is, and I already have my medical emergency already set. They're already put back. At least I have them. I have the extras that I had just out of that one bottle for that whole year put back, and I don't have to worry about needing something in case, I get a headache or just for any pain. If something happens, I'll have that on hand. But please, please make sure that you have this. And you guys know I'm allergic too as well, okay? So you better believe I have a whole bottle of Allegra in my medical thing because I just may even need that even more if anything catastrophic happens, okay? Let's continue.
Times without exception. The habit most people have of waiting until they're down to their last 3 or 4 doses before calling in a refill is a risky one under normal circumstances. In an emergency, that habit...
Exactly. I live in the state of Florida. I will continue to say this. When we have hurricanes coming, the pharmacy will allow you to do emergency refills, right? Right. So that means millions of people in the state of Florida are calling in for their prescriptions to be filled. But guess what? The pharmacies will run out. Okay? And then you got to go on this you have to go on this prescription hunt to see who could fill your prescription. It's very serious, guys. This is why I stopped here and I said all that I said. You see what it says? Risk. Don't take the risk of doing that to your body and your health because it's very, very important, okay? Let's continue.
But can become genuinely dangerous. Pharmacies may be closed, flooded, evacuated, or understaffed. Electronic prescription systems won't work if the power is out. Roads to the pharmacy may be impassable. None of those scenarios care about your refill schedule. If you know a significant weather event is coming, a major hurricane, a substantial blizzard, anything with the realistic potential to disrupt daily life for a week or more, go get your refill early. Even if you still have 10 days worth on hand, call it in and get more. Most insurance providers will accommodate
See, guys, I just told you guys that because it's something we have to live and abide by here in Florida. I tell you, it's an island. It is not, we just connected to the United States some kind of way. It's a true story. You guys need to research that. But we have to really live like that, which is not anything fearful. It's just that we have to stay in alignment and have everything that we need, evacuate when we need to evacuate, all this and that, okay? And right now, we just got into hurricane season, I think like 2 to 3 weeks ago or less. So let's continue.
early refills with appropriate documentation, and many states have emergency provisions that make this easier when a disaster has been officially declared in your area. Beyond prescriptions, build a stockpile of over-the-counter basics as well. Ibuprofen and acetaminophen for pain and fever management, antihistamines for allergic reactions, antidiarrheal medication, antacids, and melatonin for sleep disruption, which is common after traumatic or stressful events.
I already take melatonin. Your body produces melatonin, guys, on its own. So those of you that could just fall asleep gracefully without it, that's fine. And only thing it does is helps your body to produce a little bit more to get you in that mode, to especially if you're a thinker. I call it a pillow thinker before you go to sleep. You know how the day runs through your mind and you just thinking about, okay, tomorrow, next week. No, you need to be sleeping. So melatonin is good for that, and it's plant-based. Or at least get the one that says lavender plant-based. That is the one that I use, and it's excellent though. And guess what my family members call it, guys? They call it, I was about to give you guys my government name, but they call it by my first name, the pill. I thought that was so funny. Let's continue, guys.
Events. These things are inexpensive, have long shelf lives, and are exactly what you don't want to be without when a pharmacy isn't reachable. Halfway through the bonus section, quick reminder to like this video. If it's been useful, subscribe so you catch future content.
Please do. If it's been useful, please subscribe, like, so you don't miss content. Thank you.
I cover practical preparedness topics regularly.
Hello, my name is Adam Ferrari, the Chief Executive Officer of Phoenix Energy.
Sorry, guys.
I look forward to you joining.
I like to
And I
let
don't
them
want you
make their
missing anything
money.
important. 11. Sanitation supplies. When people think about emergency preparedness, their minds go immediately to food and water. Almost nobody thinks about sanitation until they're sitting in a house with no running water for 3 days or sharing a
Hey, guys, who could drink that water? You see how hard it was? Sometimes people who have to drink when they don't have, that they drink it, I should say, because then there's no other option. Come on now. Do you want to end up like that? And if you do, would you be able to handle it? Please leave it in the comment. Let's continue.
space with 6 family members when nothing is working properly, and suddenly it becomes an extremely urgent topic. The Red Cross recommends stocking up on sanitation basics, and the core list includes extra toilet paper, paper towels, and wet wipes as the big 3 essentials. But think more broadly than that. Antibacterial hand soap, hand sanitizer, at least several bottles, feminine hygiene products if applicable to your household, extra toothbrushes and toothpaste, disposable gloves, heavy-duty garbage bags in multiple sizes, unscented bleach, which is one of the most effective and inexpensive disinfectants available for contaminated surfaces. The reason sanitation
Yes, bleach is a good thing. I'll keep bleach in the house. I clean with bleach because bleach to me is like Dow antibacterial soap, the Gold Bar, those 2 things, and Lysol. Yes, I'm very addicted to those 3 items because they are germ killers like none other. And the Dawn dish detergent. Let's not leave Dawn out, okay? Dawn is princess on the our queen on the items. Dawn dish detergent. 4 great items I just named out, and I highly recommend. Let's continue.
matters in emergencies goes beyond just personal comfort. Though that matters more than people admit. When stress is already elevated, it's about genuine public health. When water service is disrupted, when you're potentially living in close quarters with multiple people, when normal hygiene routines get interrupted, the risk of bacterial infection, gastrointestinal illness, and skin conditions rises meaningfully. These are real concerns that have real consequences in the aftermath of serious, disasters. The exceptionally good news is that most of this category is cheap and has essentially infinite shelf life. $20 or $30 spent at a dollar store can stock you up with a serious supply of sanitation basics that will be perfectly usable years from now. Buy them once, seal them in a bag or container, stick them in your kit, and don't think about them again until you need them. 12. Copies of important documents. This one genuinely doesn't get the attention it deserves, and people only understand why after they've watched someone else go throughout the absolute nightmare of trying to rebuild their life from scratch with no documentation of who they are, what they own, or what they're entitled to. Think concretely about what was lost permanently and irreplaceably by people in the California wildfires, or the families flooded out in New Orleans during Katrina, or anyone whose home was completely destroyed in a major hurricane. Birth certificates, marriage and divorce certificates, social security cards, insurance policies with their policy numbers and coverage details, property deeds and mortgage documents, medical records including vaccination histories and prescription lists, passports, financial account information, all of it gone in minutes with no copies existing anywhere. Having physical copies of those documents stored in your emergency...
Guys, you guys probably wouldn't even think if I showed you where I kept all of my identification documents, all that. It's all in one spot, guys. One spot that you probably will miss $1 million. You would never guesstimate. If you think you, leave it in the comment. If you get it right, I'll send you a super chat. Let's continue.
Emergency kit doesn't undo the disaster, but it makes every single thing that comes after it dramatically more manageable. Filing insurance claims, proving your identity to access your own financial accounts, getting medical care when providers need your history, applying for disaster assistance, enrolling children in a new school after relocating. All of these processes require documentation that you simply won't have if you didn't prepare for this beforehand. Print copies of every important document you can think of, seal them in waterproof Ziploc bags or a dedicated waterproof pouch, and keep them in your emergency kit. For a meaningful additional layer of protection, invest in a small fireproof and waterproof safe. You can find them for under $50 to $60. That's where your original documents belong. Copies go in the kit, originals go in the safe. One additional step worth taking. Scan all of these documents digitally and save them to a USB drive that also lives in your emergency kit. Multiple redundancies aren't excessive here. They're exactly appropriate for something this important. 13. Cell phone chargers and cables. This one is more straightforward than most items on the list, but it still deserves proper coverage because the details matter more than people realize. The Red Cross wants you to have extra chargers and cables in your kit, and my recommendation is to have more variety than you think you need. Cables are the weak link in any charging setup. They fray, they break at the connector, they get lost or borrowed and never returned. Charger bricks fail, and technology changes faster than most emergency kits get updated. The cable that worked perfectly with your phone 3 years ago might be completely incompatible with your current device, or with a device a family member or house guest brings with them during a sheltering scenario. Keep a selection in your kit covering the most common current standards. USB-C is now the dominant connector for most modern devices. If anyone in your household uses Apple devices, Lightning cables remain relevant. Older micro USB cables are still useful for budget devices, older electronics, and some emergency gear. Having all three means you're covered regardless of what device needs charging. A multi-port USB car charger is something you should have in every vehicle you own right now, not just in your emergency kit. When the grid goes down, your car becomes a mobile charging station. Keep it fueled and keep a good car charger plugged in and ready. A portable battery bank is the final piece of this puzzle and absolutely worth adding to your kit. Charge it fully when you anticipate a storm, and it can keep your phone running for an additional day or two after the power goes out, completely independent of any power source. They're inexpensive, reliable, and have become one of the most practical everyday carry emergency items available. 14. Family and friends' contact information. Printed out, we have collectively become completely helpless when it comes to remembering phone numbers, and that's not a personal failing, it's the logical result.
Did you hear this, guys? I remember the important phone numbers that I have too. Do you? That's a very important point, guys. You gotta at least remember 3 contact phone numbers by heart. This is very serious to know that, even just for everyday life, okay? Let's continue.
Result of having a device that remembers everything for us. But that device requires power, a working network, and physical integrity. All three of them can be taken away simultaneously in a serious emergency. Ask yourself a genuinely honest question right now. If your phone was dead, broken, lost, or stolen during an emergency, how many people could you actually reach?
How many, guys? How many people could you actually reach if you could not get into your contacts? Let's continue.
You might know your spouse's number, maybe one parent's. That's probably the extent of it for most people. Your kids almost certainly know 0 phone numbers by heart. This is an almost embarrassingly simple problem to solve. Sit down for 20 or 30 minutes and compile a comprehensive contact sheet. Immediate family members with their cell and home numbers and physical addresses. Close friends who might be able to provide shelter or assistance. Trusted neighbors, your doctor's office and pharmacy. Insurance agent and policy numbers. An out-of-state contact who can serve as a communication relay point if local infrastructure is overwhelmed. This is an actual emergency management recommendation because local calls often fail when regional ones still work. Print it out, laminate it if you want to do this properly. Put a copy in your emergency kit and put a second copy in your vehicle's glove compartment. Make sure every adult in your household knows where to find it and teach your kids how to use it. That single sheet of paper could be the most valuable item in your entire kit if your phone becomes unavailable. 15. Physical map of your area last item on the official Red Cross list. And another one that gets eye rolls from...
Absolutely, guys. A map. A paper map. Not your phone map, Google, all that. I have one, as a matter of fact, in my office, guys. I have it open, pinned on the wall. I'm going to let you guys see. I'm laughing for a reason. Whenever I decide to show you guys, you'll see what I'm saying. But that is a very valuable thing. I always loved maps. I told you guys I love geography, and social science, social studies. Those are my favorite subjects in high school and school period. But yeah, make sure you have that paper map. They only cost like $1 to $3, okay? Let's continue.
From people who've never needed it and genuine appreciation from people who have. We are comprehensively GPS dependent as a society, and that dependency is invisible to us until the system fails. GPS requires your phone, which requires a charged battery and a functional network. A functioning network requires powered infrastructure and intact cell towers. In a major regional emergency, one or all of those links in the chain can break. And if you need to evacuate an unfamiliar route at night with no cell service, no data, and a dead phone, and you don't have a physical map, you have a genuine problem that no amount of preparation in other areas can compensate for.
Okay, I'm going to leave it right there and look perfectly. The United States of America, and this is from the United States American Red Cross, guys. I wanted to sit up here and take the time to do this for you, and I would like it if you would fully appreciate it by watching it, taking notes, so that I can be assured or rest assured that you're okay if anything happens, or at least that you have the things that you need, and especially for those of you that have, or us that have kids, okay? Thank you, guys. Please do subscribe until All in Eklund Lifestyle. And thanks to our United Red Cross. Thanks for all that you do, guys. We appreciate.